This is really easy to do. You take 4 dispensers and you put wind charges in them, and they all point at the same block, and then you put a pressure plate, and then we just line up, walk forward, and there we hit 163, and we're off. And we're back. Hi doggies. Whoa. Dangerous. Yeah. Hello, it's the Desolator. Welcome to a new episode. Today I'm going to show you some redstone creations that I have made. We're farming up a number of items, including pink petals, wildflowers, firefly bushes, regular bushes, 2 tall flowers, bamboo, propagules, iron, bone meal, and some more. Welcome to Desolate the Air episode number 13 of season 2. Let's go. I thought we would start with the iron farm. I've moved the chests around and we'll go into the John Silver, into the redstone. You've seen this before. Comes down into the chests. We have filter blocks. It levels itself at 41. Then I've got a second one for the poppies. And we can come around to the first side again. And we have these hoppers pointing to these comparators, which go down and down. And there's repeaters there. Ooh. And redstone torches there. John. And the redstone torches keep the hoppers powered by powering these blocks, which stops the items from going down through too quickly and wiping out the holder blocks, the filter blocks. Then we come down to crafters. This one's doing bone meal. And we've showed off this before. You take this crafter here, all the spots filled out. Comparator comes out of here into a block. That button is just for spawn proofing. And then we have the dust comes into the repeater, into a block. And I do not actually know how these affect each other directly, but it does. So the crafter only goes off when it's full, and it goes into this chest. And then we come down the stairs, and it comes down to this chest for bone blocks. We have a similar setup to the iron, but it is hidden somewhere back in there. Down below the pumpkin and melon farm, we have a similar item sorter. This is of course a design by Impulse SV. It goes back quite a number of years, so I can't give you a link to the video for it. There's probably a lot of them since then. I'll link to his channel. And it's the same setup as the iron farm. And then we have the same thing for the crafters, which turns our melon slices into full melons. And the pumpkins, of course, do their own thing. And I've cleared a lot of this out and turned it into diamonds. Keeps with one of each in there, which is something I didn't show off previously. So there's actually 42 before it starts to fill the chests. And then, of course, these go the different directions. So I wave my arm around. Thought it would be nice to walk around here a little bit. Here we have the pumpkin and melon farm. We have the sweet berries, which I haven't touched in quite a while. It's probably fall. There's my little cart here. Designed by Flip. And it's just random storage. I thought it was a cute little design. We come around my little farm area here. hear the cows. Hello, cows. Then we come down into my little basement home. Hi, doggies. Ashley, Gina, and Harrison in the back. I'm going to show you the bulk of the farms that have been built are up in here. These are some older ones. We have hanging roots, ferns, lichen. I added 2 tall flowers, which basically just has the observers doing their fast pulsing. We have pink petals and wildflowers here. This lever here is for the lichen. This is for the 2 kinds of flowers. I do them both at the same time. Then we come back here and I can show you how it works. Okay, this lever powers this block. Lights this redstone, goes into the repeater, triggers the 2 observers, which do their fast pulsing, but it's really too fast. So I slow it down with a repeater into a copper bulb. Then we have a comparator out, but it's not comparing anything, so it gives us a 15 and a full length pulse, which makes everything work nice. Now if we come back out here, I have the firefly bush farm. You bone meal the firefly bush, and it makes the second one here, and the piston comes down and breaks it, and it ends up in the chest. That's with this lever here. It also powers this regular bush farm, and there's 2 of them, but you can't break them with a piston, they just disappear. You need to use shears or silk touch hoe or similar, and I can show you how that works for the piston with the firefly bushes. And we have the same setup for triggering the bone meal, but then we come up with a second line here, this repeater, which powers this block, which powers the piston, and then it breaks the firefly bush. I had to build this set of farms a few times to get everything spaced out right to fit it all in. And there's a little back area here, which is just the observers power the dispensers and makes the 2 tall flowers duplicate. And if we come up here, we have the snowman. And here we have the bee farm collection. And we have loads and loads of honeycomb. And I can put the bottles into this crafter to make honey blocks. And I just power it fast. Generally after I put in stacks of bottles. This is the output for the cactus. This is going way back as well as the cactus. Clay farm, the vine farm, though I don't use a lot of vines since moss is used to make mossy stone variants. Then we come out of here. There's the cactus. I have to figure out how to do cactus flowers. Right now, these are just breaking whenever, and I'm surprised that there isn't a flower on one of them and stopped growing. Doesn't look like there's any yet. And the nether vines. Down with the glow squid farm. This is a propagule farm. It's also how I'm going to do pale hanging moss. the propagule, when it is fully grown, is broken by the piston. So we have a similar setup as I showed you before. Actually, this time I don't. Up we go. Okay, this is only a temporary setup. This is an Etho hopper clock. Link to his channel in the description. And it goes to a copper bulb so that we get a nice length pulse. And we have this clock here as well, which I'm not using. And basically what you do is you bone meal the, in this case, leaf block, but in the other case the pale hanging moss. And then I will not be able to use a piston for the pale hanging moss because it has to be silk touch or sheared. So we'll do that, and we'll just have an obsidian block or a wooden block so that it doesn't accidentally break when cutting down the hanging moss. Now I'm going to tear this all out because this was just a simplistic example, I guess. An easier, bigger one to do it. I rebuilt it over here, a little more compact. Although this is part of another farm as well. We'll get to that. Here's the propagule farm. Bone meal comes up on top. I'm putting it in manually for the propagule farm. And here I just have a little repeater clock. And it's turned on with the lever there on the torch. Which also puts the observers into place. And the timing is set with the pistons attached. The repeater clock here. The bamboo is fast grown with a observer clock setting off the bone meal, and then it grows up high, and then another observer sees it and breaks it, and it falls down onto the mud and directly into the hoppers. Now there's a redstone block here, and we'll see if we can get back into it. And it is compared to the hopper. So if the hopper here is full, it stops the bone meal from growing new bamboo until the crafter has crafted more. Now I tried to do the same thing on the back here. I have another crafter up here. This time crafting bone blocks into bone meal to go into the system for the bamboo. And we have the redstone block to compare to. But the problem is bone meal moves so quickly into the hopper that it isn't showing the chest as full long enough for the comparator to see that it's full. So it ultimately just spits out bone meal everywhere. I have to get someone to help me figure out how to fix that. And that's the bone meal. So we're farming up pretty much all of the new stuff now, and a couple of older things. I cleaned up here. And one of the ways I cleaned up was I have this loot room now. See, we've got a couple of discs there. We got the trial potions below the town of Utral. That was where I've done most of my work. Ancient City 2, Trail Ruins, Endloop 2024, and Sherds and Trims. And I do believe we have everything except the trial chamber ones. So I have to work on that. And I have to see where we're at with discs. Hi, Natalie. Emeralds. Stuff I got from the Amstad market. Iron. Slime blocks. Icy stuff. And 3 types of frog lights. So yeah. We're doing pretty good. I do need to look into wood farms. I know there are some that have been built on other SMPs that I've been on, and I have some Litematica versions for them, but I have to get into how to build them, because I've found that if you try and just take the Litematica and dump it into the world like I did with the squid farm, if there's TNT duping involved and some other things of similar type, they do not work correctly from just creatively placing the structure back in. I'm not quite sure why that is. Well, that's going to be it for today's episode. I hope you had fun. I did. If you did, please click the like button. If you want to stay in touch here on YouTube, click the subscribe button. If you click the bell next to the subscribe button, YouTube will send you notifications when I release a new video or community post. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.